Hello, everyone. Yes, my cat and bedspread. We're actually in the process of buying all new comforters and blankets for the whole house. Just a little bit of an upgrade. Um, I'm officially a licensed driver. Passed the driving test. That was super fucking scary. I didn't think I was. I mean, okay, so I'm in this like huge truck, and they have the parallel parking. This is little teeny tiny bitty country DMV, and they've got this little bitty area for the parallel park, and then they want you to do like one smooth transition to park. And I mean, this is a extended cab, fucking like giant, just a big truck. It's a big ass V8, humongous truck on like lifted tires, and it was the only thing I had to take my driver's test in. And I fucking pulled that shit off. I fucking did it. And I was so self-defeatist about it, right? So for months it was like, I'm gonna have to rent a car, I'm going to borrow this person's car, I'm gonna do this. And it started getting down to like just like in a couple days this it was gonna expire. And I had to take this I can't attitude and basically like throw that shit in the trash and just start fucking driving this truck. And then it was at that point that I realized I've only ever driven shitty vehicles. Like I had like an old Nova that was all beat up, and like when I was younger, 'cause it'd been a long time since I'd driven. And this thing, fucking backup camera, easy, easy. I mean, obviously, I wasn't parallel parking that thing into that tiny space. And fortunately for me, the woman who was taking the test was very like aware of that. So she was like I almost started crying when she said that I passed. Literally, just tears. Well, I waited until he took my picture and then I started crying. Because in Georgia, they give you a paper ID first, and then you gotta wait for the plastic one to come in the mail. So it should be here relatively soon. So it's pretty exciting. And then and it was kind of like I already kind of knew this, but like, I don't know. Horseradish, okay? Horseradish is so fucking good for you. I mean, if you have gut issues, and I know a lot of people do, or even like issues with your sinuses, just eating a little bit of it every day will do more for your stomach than 100 bottles of kefir and fucking sauerkraut. I don't know. I made sauerkraut and it didn't do any good. As far as like, your gut health and blah, 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 without getting too much into detail. Because as you get older, a healthy gut is going to make or break whether you get sick all the time or you have eczema and things like that. Which, speaking of eczema, this dishydrotic eczema, maybe it was poison ivy. I don't know. It was either poison ivy or it was like this eczema thing from being stressed out. It was one of the two. I have no idea. I do know that it is clearing up and going away. And if it was an eczema, I don't think it would go away unless I miraculously cured it, which I'm not willing to make that claim. It's most likely poison ivy and stress. Because the day before it showed up, I was digging in the garden. So it's a pretty good possibility that that's what it was. And so a lot of tea tree oil to make sure that it doesn't get infected is key. because it made the skin so delicate. It like pulled from underneath the fingernail. Ugh, so painful. Fuck that shit. I will never garden without gloves again. I don't care, like, people talk about all this hippie shit. Grounding, walking through the forest with no shoes on. I dare somebody to walk through this motherfucking forest with no shoes on. Be my guest. I tread lightly with shoes on. And in this time of year, you couldn't pay me to go out in that motherfucker. I saw a wolf spider that came up on my porch to get out of the rain the other day. He was the biggest wolf spider I've ever seen. I thought it was a frog. He was so big. It was like a small tarantula. Biggest goddamn wolf spider I've ever seen. I mean, it had to have been like... I don't even have nothing to compare it to how big that motherfucker was. It was ridiculous. And I got like this wildflower that I got. This is like the coolest thing in the world. I don't even think you can see that. And it's just like this big, like, droopy looking deal. No, pretty cool stuff. And then I got all my basils doing their thing. Oh, God, like, the sun, it, like, burns. Just to be out in it. Like, in the shade, it's kind of nice. But it, like, physically burns my skin to stand in the sun. Fuck that shit. That's all I've got to say about that. Thank God for the trees, man. The last house I lived at, it was one of those like little cookie cutter neighborhoods where they completely clear all of the trees and everything. And then they put up these little fucking tiny ass houses. And there was no trees. It reminded me of like that house from Beetlejuice where you open the door and it's like fucking just like a hellscape because you couldn't play outside like, with kids because in the summer it was so deathly hot. Even in the wintertime, the sun would just beat down on you, and it was, unless it was like an overcast day, which it hardly ever was, but it was cool because you could see storms for like miles. You could see, and I checked it on the radar. It was like a huge storm, like 60 miles away. You could see it off in the horizon. So I would see these incredible skyscapes, or just see like really incredible things in the sky. And I had a telescope at the time, but I didn't have any of the equipment that hooked up. See, here there's so many trees, like you don't see so much of the sky anymore. But I mean, when it was, it was a real downer because you would see like the plaid and checkerboard shit that these planes, and it would just look so apocalyptic. It was absolutely terrible. To the point where it's kind of like you ask yourself, like, who is responsible for this? Like, why? Why are they doing it? And ultimately, I came to the conclusion it's Bill Gates is funding it through the power companies. And they're funding it too. So when you pay your power bill, you're paying these stupid motherfuckers to spray the sky. That's why everybody's power bill over the last 15 years has just steadily gone up and up and up and up and up. I remember when my power bill was $60 a month. And I was an adult. And like my water bill was never more than like $25. And that was for a 2,500 square foot house. Now, I think water and garbage runs about 80. I know my power bill's got to be high. It's probably like $250 a month, at least. Please are you? I gotta eavesdrop. Y'all can't hear it, so it doesn't matter. But yeah. My dog's not outside, is it? Lily? Lily dog? I don't think she's out here. I think I put her inside. I hope I did. I know it's a delivery person. God, I hope I put the dog inside. I'm waiting on a delivery. I don't want the dog to scare away the UPS man. Got myself a new computer for my birthday. Oh, you being a good girl, Neil. Oh, I know she wasn't outside. She's very overprotective. I don't know. Let's see. Did my shit come? I don't think it's supposed to come till tomorrow. Wah, wah, wah. No, not unless they stuck it at the front door. Let me see. I don't know. Go ahead and end this. Y'all have a good night.